Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory to Yahweh Bahashim, El Shai Bahashim, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone and Ruel. Teach well that tells us the truth. And the hearty Shalom to all the Akim and Apu to men. Shalom, Shalom. All right, this is just an update, what's going on in the news and what's happening. I named it W4Y Michigan Water Wars, but it's a lot more stuff that's going on just besides that, though. All right, so Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Let's just hop straight into it.
Will likely continue into a storm will move into New York City today. Heavy downpours will likely continue into the night. We may see severe thunderstorms and wind gusts reaching up to 50 miles per hour. We have been preparing for this storm since Thursday. Agencies have cleared catch basins across the 5 boroughs and performed targeted inspections of flood-prone neighborhoods. The Down Tree Task Force is on alert and ready to respond to fallen trees and clogged basins, while the Tow Truck Task Force is prepared to support stranded vehicles. NISM has issued a travel advisory. And with the Norway-Senegal kicking off this evening at New York, New Jersey Stadium, we have also issued a gridlock alert. We are encouraging New Yorkers to budget extra time for your commutes tonight. Exercise caution when you travel. Take public transit whenever you can. Do not bike or drive through floodwaters. And if conditions are severe, seek shelter indoors before traveling. To stay up to date on live conditions, please sign up for Notify NYC by texting Notify NYC to 692-692.
All right, so this is Isaiah 29:6. It says, "Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, with the earthquake and great noise, with storm, tempest, and the flame of devouring fire." So America, which is Babylon the Great, Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0, Egypt 2.0, this wicked society, man, is going to be judged by Yahweh, which the world ugly called God, and his son Yahweh Shai, which the world ugly called Jesus. All right, the Lord Yahweh and Yahweh Shai are melanated beings. Okay, Yahweh is coming, all right, and is sending his son, all right, which is going to be in his power, and he's going to take over this whole society, man. All right, every single corner, every edge of this planet is going to be visited by Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, but first it starts with places like Babylon, getting hit with these different plagues, the MOTB being released worldwide, Jacob's trouble, all these things got to commence, man. All right, so yeah, this is just a warning to show you that the Lord is visiting this place, visiting Babylon the Great, which is America. All right.
Officially died at 94 years old. And Clive Davis is one of the biggest music executives that created people like Whitney Houston, Diddy, and more. But he also left us with a lot of questions. We know that Clive Davis was asked about Diddy's charges multiple times, and it's something that he never addressed before he passed away. At one point, he was acting like he couldn't understand what the person was saying. And then when he had to give that up because he could understand, he didn't say a word, got in his car and rolled up the window. Now, one of the biggest things that I always remember with Clive Davis is TLC actually blamed Clive Davis for that predatory contract where they were basically broke, even though they were one of the famous groups of all time. And this is something that I talked about in the past. Clive Davis was the co-founder of LaFace Records that signed TLC, and they also were in a joint venture with Arista Records. And Clive Davis was the one that reportedly oversaw how little that these girls were getting paid based on how much they actually made. The label was ripping them to nothing. This is exactly why they broke into Clive Davis's office, held him hostage by point, and said they wanted release from their contract. And then, of course, we have him signing Whitney Houston at only 19 years old. Even though Whitney Houston had this massive $100 million contract with Clive Davis, it also wasn't as great as what it seemed. There has always been a lot of speculation whether Whitney Houston's contract was predatory or not. Whitney Houston never got this full $100 million. It was based on her having to make 6 albums and also 2 of the best hits compilations. It was based off her record sales, and she honestly never got close to 100 million because there was also fees going to the record company. That's why there's always been this big back and forth on whether her contract was predatory or not. Because of Whitney Houston's struggle and the way the record deal was set up, Clive Davis actually would loan her more money. And then there's always the thing that a lot of people have wondered: what was the note that was given to Brandy right before Whitney Houston passed away? People have always speculated if Clive Davis had anything to do with Whitney Houston's passing because it was a really odd circumstance, especially when he kept the Grammy party going even though she was just found passed away upstairs. And the people that don't think he directly had something to do with it felt like Clive Davis should have had some responsibility because he was loaning Whitney Houston that money knowing that she was struggling with addiction instead of trying to get her the help that she might have needed. So at the end of the day, yes, Clive Davis was a huge person in the music industry, creating some of the most famous people of all time. But at the same time, he left us with a lot of questions that we all wish would have been answered. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this. And
This man was a freaking devil, man. He was a damn demon, man. You know, in that whole music industry, the music industry is all wicked. You know, it's ran by the ish people. You know, the so-called you know, the G-ish people. You know, those people. You know, a lot of those people that's in the music industry, the media, you know, is ran by the ish people. You know, which are the true devils, man. You know, just like the rest of these Edomites. You know, Esau, Edom, so-called white man. You know, they have, you know, these contracts, you know, these agents, you know, they stand behind the so-called law. Well, man, they do so much wicked stuff behind closed doors. You know, all they do is lie, steal, and kill. You know, this Isaiah 29:15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord. All right, they got their own secret agendas, you know, underground tunnels, and you know all this wicked stuff that they do. You know, sacrifices. You know, they conjure up wicked demons and stuff. You know, but just in a lower instance, this man stole money, stole thousands of dollars. You know, from so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans and Israelites. All right, and their works are in the dark. They say, "Who seeth us and who will know of us?" All right, and that's the spirit of an Edomite. You know, nobody can stop me. Who can stop me from doing this? Who see what I'm doing? You know. Isaiah 29:16. Surely your turn of things upside down should be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say to him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? So yeah, the Lord created Esau, Edom, the Ish people, you know, all these different versions of Esau, Edom, man, to be wicked, to be evil, to be the villain, you know, to be the ops. The Lord created them to do that. So if the Lord created these damn devils to be wicked, who is you to say, you know, oh yeah, you know, Lord, he not like this, he a good guy, whatever. You know, Esau, even so-called white man, was set up to be the wicked. All right, let's show forefathers. Go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Through your father's side, it don't matter what color you is. Okay, but for the most part, if your forefathers go back to the Ish people, you know, the Esau, Edom, Australian, whatever, you know, you're finished, man. All right.
Bucks is in custody tonight.
वो अब यहाँ पे हुआ है किया आपसे लीग से भी मुसाफिर किया अपनी बात से अब यहाँ पे आ चुका है जिसके बाद अब
All right, guys. Mr. Prime Minister, go ahead.
War, man. Hey, all All right, now ultimately that's judgment. Okay, but this grandma, she was killed, by a damn Tesla on autopilot. All right, which just lets you show you, they had that movie. Um, damn, the no, damn, what was it? The day the Earth stood still. No, not that. Damn, I forgot what the movie was. But on the movie, they had a whole bunch of like Teslas, like AI powered cars. Basically, they was running into like the highways, blocking them off. You know what I'm saying? Catching on fire, like you know what I'm saying. That's why you not supposed to be riding in no damn autopilot. New age technology vehicles. Try to stay away from those tech. Try to stay away from technology that's like wire like that. Where you don't have control. Where Esau Edom has control over your pedals, your brakes. You don't want that. Just like putting a damn chip. The MOTB. They're gonna push it nationwide, worldwide. Right? They're gonna make it sound like, oh yeah, it's good for this or that, but in reality, it's bad for you, man. All right, so if you take that MOTB, you're gonna be driven just like this damn Tesla, man. You're gonna go right into a damn wall. Because Esau Edom, you can get hacked. You name it. You take that MOTB. All right, so let me see. All right. 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Don't be getting in no AI or no Tesla cars, man. All right, leave them alone. Let's see what else they got.
Americans, the Iranians have agreed to invite IAEA inspectors back into their country. That is a major milestone for the American people and the first step in permanently denuclearizing or permanently ending a nuclear weapons program in Iran. And that's exactly what we wanted to do. That's exactly what we asked to happen. We made a lot of great progress on other nuclear talks. And that leads me to the final thing that we wanted to accomplish, which is actually set up the process for the technical negotiations that will follow.
The reality is, it didn't matter what was going to happen during the negotiations. Inspectors were always 100% coming back. It was something they had already agreed to in 2015, something that Donald Trump actually pulled us out of in 2018. And so this was something that should have already been a given. And unfortunately, right now, it looks like JD Vance is trying to play this as though it's a major win for the United States. Look, they're allowing them back in. And granted, yes, it's great that they're finally going back in, but that should have always been a thing. That should have been not even something they had to agree to again, or something we had to negotiate with them on, which begs the question, what did we actually have to give them in order for them to, allow us to bring inspectors back into a facility in which we already had a deal with them in the past to allow those inspectors to come in? But, and this is a big but here, these are still the early phases of these negotiations. If Donald Trump or JD Vance could negotiate a deal in which, yes, there could be a permanent restrictions on whether they be developing anything nuclear, enriching any uranium, etc., then this deal would definitely be better than what we had in 2015. But at this very moment, they're celebrating something we already had, and that's kind of scary.
This is probably what we're most excited about as Americans.
All right, so this is Matthew 24:6. You should hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So you got to hear things like this. Them talking about going to war, and not going to war, talking about, things like that. Okay, and it's only going to heat up. It's only going to be more rumors of war, more, division, more people bucking up against one another. All right.
Tourists are unfavorable.
Breaking U.S. news.
The Ukraine Ukrainian military has just trolled Russians in the funniest way ever inside of occupied Ukraine, telling them that the beach season right now in Crimea is closed and that the forecast for tourists are unfavorable not to come to Crimea. This comes as they are systematically destroying everything that is either going to Crimea. We're talking about logistics, destroying things that allow things to get inside of Crimea. We're talking about ports, ferries, and bridges, and going after their power grid and oil to the point in time to where, yes, yesterday it was announced by the Russian head that was appointed by the Russians inside of occupied Crimea that the fuel that's currently in the peninsula, that's not for you. That's only for the military. This has led Russians to panic to the point in time to where many of them are trying to leave, but some of them can't even get fuel. And with some Russians taking to social media saying they don't want to be in Crimea anymore, especially because some areas don't even have power. Which, on behalf of many Ukrainians, I can personally say to you, why are you in Crimea? That's not your land. You're not supposed to be there. Go back to Russia. I'll be sure to keep you updated, so please do share this video and follow me for more. The Ukrainian military has...
Breaking U.S. news you might have missed today. Norway vs Senegal World Cup Day might be cancelled due to flooding weather in New York today. Judge in Charlie Kirk case delays ruling until Friday, with DTH penalty eligibility on the line. 5 people were arrested for tampering with reflecting pool in D.C. Rod Stewart pauses Utah concert after nearly fainting on stage. U.S. authorizes Iranian oil sales for 60 days. A warehouse fire in Los Angeles has been burning for a whole week. Medicaid and ACA enrollment falls by more than 5 million, new report finds. Concertgoer who fell to his DTH during Madison Square Garden show identified. Singer Oliver Tree's body back in California after helicopter crash in Brazil. J.D. Vance grilled bar women hosts on The View talk show. Los Angeles school superintendent resigns, months after FBI raid. Toy Story 5 takes in $160 million at the box office. Breaking U.S.
Niggas don't know that Niggas don't know that I'm gay. Riding on dick every day.
And this what the industry do to you, man. You know? The industry make you like this. You know? Let me see if I can find this real quick. Like this 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and 9. It says, know ye not that the righteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate. A lot of these men, they're effeminate. You know, painting their nails. You know, they got the super long hair. Crossing their legs. Wear tight, super tight clothes. You know, the Lord's not dealing with that, man. It says, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, right? You're abusing yourself. 2 men laying down, 2 women laying down. That's abusing yourself. Nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. So, hey man, you effeminate, you soft, you know, you like this. Hey man, the Lord's not dealing with you. You're not gonna make it. You're gonna have to eat a missile.
The people of Puerto Rico as we speak. Tens of thousands of Puerto Ricans are in the middle of a water crisis that is so bad that the National Guard has been mobilized. Many people across the island, including in the capital of San Juan, have been without running water for days and even weeks at a time as the summer heat gets stickier and hotter. The lack of resources and desperation for water has called for some creative solutions, like giant milk tankers that have been sanitized and repurposed to make water deliveries. Many residents are being forced to travel to water filling stations in specific areas. They call them oases, and they rely on the water collected from these oases to cook and to shower and to flush their toilets. Local community leaders for poorer neighborhoods across San Juan say people have been hospitalized over the water shortages. Others are struggling to physically even access it.
I've been without water service for about 2 weeks. And
wow,
it's amazing how, or ironic, how we live in an island surrounded by water, and yet we have no water. And I've known of people who have gone close to over 40 days without water service. Very sad, very depressing moment in Puerto Rico.
There is a serious infrastructure problem failing the people of Puerto Rico as we.
So this is 2 Ezra chapter 15. I'm going to get it from 5. It says, "Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, all right, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, said the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things of which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Therefore, thus said the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them." All right, so the Lord's going to deliver his people. But all these plagues are just a sign, that the Lord is on his way. All right.
On why things like geopolitics and wars are so complicated. You have to understand that the Trump administration is not only managing interests at home, but managing interests abroad and interests that other countries are taking into account that have nothing to do with us. One of those big interests are Israeli elections that are in this year, anywhere from September to October, depending on when Bibi Netanyahu decides to call them. A peace deal with Iran means Bibi is not going to get reelected. It doesn't make him look good. The hardliners don't want it. But the peace deal is also Trump's way to get the United States out of the Middle East, which means everything that we've been doing with Iran has been very tactical and very hard, specifically because Bibi Netanyahu, not the nation or country of Israel, but Bibi Netanyahu himself, has no incentive for there to be peace. But Netanyahu knows that Trump needs a peace so that Republicans can help win in the midterms. Because without peace, gas prices do not plummet here in the US. And that is just one facet of the war with Iran. But that facet and that relationship has made this so tough. And if you don't understand these nuances, you're never going to understand why Donald Trump makes some of the geopolitical decisions that he makes. Because Donald Trump does not like and has not liked Netanyahu since 2021. But he understands that he is the leader of Israel and has to work with him. But the news media and articles and columnists will never talk about this stuff because it's not interesting. And they'd rather talk about the reflecting pool or anything else. But
new data show that starter homes in a record number of U.S. cities now cost $1 million or more. NPR's Jennifer Ludden reports it's part of a surge in home prices since 2020.
New data from the real estate website Zillow finds 242 cities have $1 million entry-level homes. That's 3 times as many as before the pandemic housing boom. Most places are in California, but the fastest growth is in New York and New Jersey. $1 million starters have also spread to Texas, Wyoming, and Illinois. They're defined here as the lowest third of the market in a region.
Is he not?
And that extends to all of Orion Township, Lake Orion, Auburn Hills, Rochester Hills. Police in Auburn Hills are actually warning that non-essential water use will be investigated and violators may be prosecuted. And that extends to all of Orion Township, Lake Orion, Auburn Hills, Rochester Hills. Police in Auburn Hills are actually warning that non-essential water use will be investigated and violators may be prosecuted. And that extends to all of Orion Township, Lake Orion, Auburn Hills, Rochester Hills. Police in Auburn Hills are actually warning that non-essential water use will be investigated and violators may be prosecuted.
Ukrainians are doing it. They're cutting off Russia from Crimea. And today, besides them hitting those air defense systems and a few other things, they also hit ferries that move things from Russia to occupy Ukraine. These ferries here, to actually be exact, 3 different ferries were hit, in which, they're not going anywhere. This is all part of Ukraine's plan to pressure Russia to come into the table and to negotiate, as they're cutting off the logistics that's starving the peninsula.
Is he not? You know, this society is totally gone. The scripture says you don't follow the customs of these people anyway. All right. It just shows you, man, you know, the society tries to push this Mother's Day, Father's Day, they both off. All right. Um, all right, this Psalms 2:1 says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? All right. These people, they be making up all type of holidays, you know. They try to set up all type of wicked things. It's crazy. You know, all these different holidays. Let me get this scripture too. All right. Damn, where's it at? All right, Exodus 23:2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shall I speak in the cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. All right, let me get another one. All right, Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. So this come from Esau Edom. You know, we're not choosing Father's Day, Mother's Day. We're just not celebrating. All right, it's completely off. It's completely wicked.
miles. This came as Ukrainian forces struck a Russian oil refinery in Russia's Siberia territory of Tumen. And it was just this morning that Ukrainian
growing outrage over the death of a 1-year-old at the hands of police. Protesters met with tear gas outside the Mississippi Walmart where the incident took place, demanding justice for Cohen Wiley. According to investigators, the shooting on Sunday happened when Senatobia police responded to a shoplifting call involving 2 adults and a child. One witness telling a local reporter of the 2 adults, one was carrying the boy, the other a box of diapers.
Policeman shot, open fire in a public setting over allegedly some Pampers.
Authorities say the adults, now identified by the family's lawyer as the boy's mother and her friend, tried to get away, driving toward and nearly hitting an officer. Another officer then firing at the car. The boy's mother says she tried to communicate to police that a child was in the vehicle.
I raised my baby up trying to show them that he was in the car. By the time I set my baby down, it was like 3 to 4 shots. One of the shots hit him in his rib cage, and the other shots hit her in her
whose possessor slay them
arm and her thigh.
Cohen was pronounced dead at a hospital while the driver
blessed be the Lord, for I am
had
rich.
critical injuries, according to the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations, which is now handling the case.
Make no mistake, this is a very tragic situation. I would ask that the public maintain
honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone that Ruah, the teacher that taught us the truth. Already Shalom taught Akim, I thought to him. Shalom.